What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. This is Austin, and this is the Austin Smith Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about real estate and we talk about lifestyle. 2019 is in full effect. How are you doing? Hope you're getting to the bag, chasing the goals, eliminating the procrastination, and hopefully, you set some goals that inspire you to take it past January and go into, the year with those goals. So this particular episode, as we set off 2019, is about your financial mindset and your financial endeavors as we go out and secure the bag throughout the year. And I'm happy that I was able to get this particular guest on, as she's going to talk to us about some of the things that she does, how she runs multiple businesses, how she builds wealth on the side by investing in a couple of different asset classes, and just how she manages the money as she continues to build wealth. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into today's show. If you or anybody that you know has benefited by listening to the Austin Smith Real Estate Podcast, if you have received some value by listening to the podcast, please log on to iTunes, leave me a rating and review, sign up on the website, and continue to get this gold and continue to share this message. And if you know anyone that can benefit by coming onto the show, please let me know. Gal, guy, does not matter. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the show. What's going on, everybody? Today on the show, I am so excited to have this guest come and share her knowledge and her expertise. I can go on and on. Her resume is extremely impressive. She's going to be able to kind of dive into how she got started and how she became the successful businesswoman that she is today. Real quick, she is currently out of New Haven, Connecticut. She's the CEO of Outreach Realty Services, Outreach Real Estate School, which is a school that helps individuals get their license and start getting the ball rolling on their real estate career. She's also the CEO of Outreach Property Management, and she also runs a nonprofit organization also known as Outreach, which helps serves the underprivileged and underserved communities in house buying. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the show Dr. Roberta Hoskie. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, not a problem. We'll get right into it. The awards speak for themselves. The accolades speak for themselves. Your brand itself speaks for itself. And, the number one key word that people have heard already, outreach. And that's kind of, I feel as your essence, to who you are as an individual. So we'll get a chance to talk about that. But just let us know who you are, how you got started. Tell us all about yourself, Doctor.
Absolutely. President and CEO of Outreach Realty Services, Outreach School of Real Estate, Outreach Foundation, president of Outreach Foundation, manager member of MET Construction Management, founder member of the Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood, and the list can go on, but I'll stop right there. But prior to any of those titles of presidents or owners or CEOs of anything, I was a single mother on welfare getting $417 a month. Teenage single mother, 17, when I was pregnant with my son, and it was very hard for me at that time. Poverty definitely was my life. Was trying to figure out how to keep lights on, figuring out how to provide for my son, and had to save money to catch a bicycle to go back to school because I was a high school dropout. So I saved money to get this bicycle and to also get the seat to go on the back of the bicycle because the buses were too expensive. So hopefully that painted a picture of where my starting point was. And, what happened in my life can happen for anyone is basically I got tired and I realized that life was bigger than me once I had my son. See, I love my son and I love my children more than I love myself. And I realized one day that my children's life are directly linked to my life. So if I don't have anything to offer them, they don't have anything to receive. And so from that day forward, I was focused so much on creating a better future for my son. Now, let me just put this paint the picture a little bit. He's a black boy. His mother's a black mother who's a high school dropout. His father is a drug dealer looking at 20 years in prison. And he also, I think his education went up to 8th grade. So the statistics were high against my son, and they weren't looking good. And I realized that I had to do something, because if I didn't do something, that the statistics would become real in my son's life. And that was really my motivator. And so as I go all over the world and I talk about the millionaire mindset, it always starts with having to have something bigger than you. Life has to be bigger than you. And then that's my rule number
I think
one.
that's awesome. And you kind of like what mindset wise, while you're going through these trials and tribulations and you see the outcome and what you want for yourself and your family, but how did you deal day by day, because things didn't change overnight. So how did you keep a level mind to be able to build brick by brick as you slowly started to change your life around?
It became focused, and I had to clear the environment that I was around. I was around friends and family whose life was just like mine. And I realized if I keep that environment, that's the environment that will manifest itself. So I had to shift and get alone for a while. So there was a lonely walk around, no friends, not hanging around with people, but really to get clarity of thought. See, many of us underestimate the power of a clear thought. When you have clear thoughts, then it's clear for you to decide what your next move is. If you have all of these things going on around you, it's hard for you to decide what your next moves are. So I had to remove myself, get clarity of thought, really get into prayer, find myself with God, and just, okay, what's the next step? So literally day by day, I wrote lists and said, this is what I want to accomplish today. And then on this list, I still do this, I start 3 things that must be accomplished today. Like no ifs, ands, buts, maybes, no excuses. These 3 things must be accomplished today, because these three things are going to open up the door for my tomorrow. So is the key to success when you're going after big things, when you're starting way in the background, is a little consistent steps and staying focused on the next best thing.
And it's awesome because eventually, with momentum and a powerful amplifier known as time, you were able to eventually break the poverty curse, which is an excellent segue to your new book, Poverty Curse Broken. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that really quickly?
Yes. Oh my gosh. This book is a chronicle of my life, of how I broke poverty and what was going on in my life at the time. And it also talks about my first real estate transaction, which yielded me over $250,000 and changed my life. It took me 5 years to write this book. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm the queen of no procrastination. And 5 years it took me to write this book because I kept crying. I kept crying, and I kept picking it up and putting it down. But then I had to really face my subconscious things. And a lot of us deal with things or have dealt with things in life, and we sweep them under the rug and never want to talk about them again. And then we act like it wasn't there. But when I was writing this book, it was hard to escape from myself. It was hard to escape what happened to me. It was hard to escape how I became and how I evolved to Dr. Roberta Hoskie. And so I had to be transparent, and that's how I've lived my life. But I was super transparent in this book because I realize that there's somebody out there that really needs to be able to identify with what I went through. And if I can do it, if I can face it, if I won't let anyone hold me back, if I don't let my mindset hold me back, if I don't let poverty hold me back, if I don't let being broke hold me back, if I don't let being abused hold me back, if I don't let my mama, my daddy hold me back, then there's nobody that can hold me back except for me. But people need to see that as well. And so my hope and my prayer is that as people read this book, that they see themselves in this book, or see someone else in this book, and then be encouraged, inspired, and motivated, not for the minute, but motivated to move to
I hope the
their
individuals
life.
can kind of feel the energy and the passion that went behind the development of this book. Is it currently out now, or is it on the way out?
It is on its way out. It'll be out the end of, right now we're targeting the end of, right in the beginning of 2019. Right now we're targeting that, and it's all up to my publisher. I was so grateful and surprised, picked up by TBN Trinity Broadcasting Network on the same platform with Joyce Myers, T.D. Jakes, and Joe Osteen. It's
That's
amazing.
Beautiful. Anyone that's listening right now, you can get a free copy on me. Find out, just shoot me an email, share the show. When this show episode does come out, all you have to do is share it on your respective platforms. Let me know and receive a free copy of Roberta's book. Also, and I hope, individuals can probably see that when it comes down to self-discipline, mental, mastery, business success, Roberta has it all. And she also does offer free coaching, whether that's on real estate, whether you're, running a totally separate business. Roberta does offer coaching no matter what you're trying to do. So in 2019, if it's something that's been on your plate, starting that business, going after that investment property, if it's something that's been on your plate, go after it. 2019 is all there for you. Let's switch gears a little bit. So 2019, and we'll start to talk about a couple of the real estate investing strategies that you like, and then we'll talk about wealth building strategies, since real estate is just one vehicle that can get you there. But in 2019, for people that have heard they've heard the other podcasts, they've read the books, they've gone to the seminars, they have an idea, but they don't yet know how to take the next step, what would you recommend people do if they want to take the first step towards investing in real estate?
Well, there's a large population, as you described, that read books, went to seminars, and haven't done anything yet. There's a couple of reasons why people haven't done anything yet. One is they're not comfortable. They don't think they know enough. Or two, which is probably the major part, which is fear. Fear of failure, or some may even be battling fear of success. So as this is probably not the answer you anticipated, this is the answer that I'm going to give you. Anytime you have not started yet is only because you haven't conquered something internally. And so in order to get to the next level, or to be able to manifest those things in life, you're just going to have to start right where you are. You may not have to know every piece of it, but you know enough to start right where you are. For example, you know enough to know that you may need to have your credit put in order. You know enough to know that you may need to find investors. You know enough to know that you may need to save some money. So you know that much. Start with what you know, and then it'll continue to evolve from there.
And I've witnessed that with my own self. With either doing your first investment property and eventually you'll get to it. You'll know that something's about to happen when you eventually get to the point mindset wise where you're so fed up that you haven't accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, that you have the immediate change, and now your actions, mindset, spirit are all like in alignment with what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have a quote that I say when I speak, and I say, change only comes when you can no longer accept your current situation, period. So when you can't accept it anymore, that's when you're going to make some change. So, yeah, it makes sense. And then that's when things start to come in line. You know, I I am I'm heavy on believing that God orchestrates steps. However, I also believe that it requires for us to do something. So when we start moving, then that gives God permission to move as well. So that's when things start coming.
For
But we can't be lazy and expect to get things done.
yes, yes.
So
You know, you can't have fear and doubt. They don't work. The moment that I mean, I'm sorry, not fear. You can't have faith and doubt. It doesn't work that way. The 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 only other thing that kind of, you know, people will tell me, whether they're either new in real estate or whether they're looking to grow their business and take it to the next level, they're like, Austin, I can't find any deals. And it's like, you know, even when I tell myself sometimes, like, wow, deals are really getting scarce out here. It's like, is there nobody else that's doing deals? If there are other people that are doing deals, then obviously, you know, there's only a certain level of scarcity. What are some of your favorite strategies for finding deals and finding new properties and finding new markets to invest in?
constantly getting outside of my normal investment zone,
Can
if
you
that
unpack
makes
that?
sense. Yeah, so basically, if you are, like you said, that is scarce, in the market is scarce, well, it's only scarce where you're looking at it. So if you get outside, just like you said, get outside your comfort zone, get outside of your normal investment zone. So that means that I'm looking at property in Chicago, even though I'm in Connecticut. That means I'm looking at property in Cleveland, even though I'm in Connecticut. I'm not confined to my location of where I am. I think many people think that they have to invest in a place where they can control it and they can see, feel, and touch it. Well, that is a way that I suggest you start. But if it's not there, it's not there. You can't make it be there. But it is definitely there. It's somewhere, not necessarily in the place that you're looking. The other thing is that I'm not sure what formulas people are using to validate what's a good deal. So if your formula is faulty, then you're going to say you don't have any good deals because you can't see past whatever your formula that you're using. So for me, when I'm evaluating properties, I'm evaluating properties for multiple different type of investment strategies. For example, my favorite is flipping. So I love flipping. So I may find a property that may be good for flipping, which I like 3-bedroom, minimum of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, minimum of 1,200 square feet in the basement that could be finished. So once I have those 3 pieces, that's a possible flip, given the amount of money that I have to acquire the property for. Buy and hold. I may also buy and hold a property that may not have a ton of equity in it, but the future value of that property is promising. So when you're saying there's no deals in your area and it's scarce, well, what type of deal are you looking for? You may need to shift the type of deal, or you need to go into a different market.
I love that because, to my point and other investors, they, we sometimes get, pigeonholed into, like you said, our own comfort zone. So while for me, that's multifamilies in the city of, Newark and East Orange, where I really love buy and hold as a strategy. Even stepping out the comfort zone, it's not so much that, hey, listen, I have to completely change into a rehab business, but okay, if buy and hold, doesn't, or if the pricing or analysis no longer works in this particular market, there are other markets in the entire country or in the world, essentially. There's other multifamilies that you can go after. You know what I mean? Like, you don't feel like you have to stay put in New Jersey.
Yes, that's the whole point right there. And then let me just bring your thought process a little bit higher. Some of the most powerful cash flow properties are not necessarily multifamily properties. I get my biggest cash flows on single families.
Interesting.
So it's not necessarily the number of units. It's the cash flow that you can get from the particular property. Granted, if you do a multi-family, if someone moves out, you have a vacancy and you don't have money coming in, but you need to plan
and
for
it's
that.
all the it's all the pros and cons. And if you have a nice stable
Yep.
portfolio, then if one asset is losing or two assets, you're taking a mixed bag of assets. So with one lacks, the other ones will support. So completely understand. Let's talk about
Yep.
well, even before that, when you're looking at other markets, when you're investing in other markets, how do you do your research? Are you actually traveling to these areas and getting to feel yourself? Like, are you taking time to do that? Or is it more so, connecting with individuals that are there and then just running your own property analysis from home?
I am a firm believer of teamwork. Like, I am the queen of the teams. So I am not going to every property. I have teams that will look for particular properties given the formula that I gave them. Once they find it, they bring it to me. Then I do the final analysis. And depending on the particular property, depending on the amount of money to be made, I may make a trip. But other than that, no.
So you do all of this remotely.
I let the experts be the experts.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, because we don't get more time in a day. That's the problem. People get worn out. And people say, Roberta, how do you run all these companies, invest and everything? That's because I'm the queen of the team. I know how to put a team together. I'm not omnipresent. But I know how to I know how to multiply myself.
That's beautiful. The last question in regards to real estate investing, and then we'll kind of go into just some wealth building tips and strategies that people can implement in 2019. Last question. People will see, okay, or they'll read an article that says, 30 ways to find sellers that are willing to sell ASAP, or 30 ways to find distressed properties. And there's a million and one ways, whether it's, working with your spirit influence, working with wholesalers, networking with agents, direct mail, going to the courthouse, whatever strategy it is, I find the time to confirm whether this analysis is kind of correct. But I kind of find that it's more 80% mentality and then 20% the mechanic. So when somebody wants to find a deal, the mechanic, meaning the strategy, it matters, but it doesn't matter compared to the mindset. For example, if the individual sees, online, everybody preaches, direct mail. So individuals like, hey, I want to get into direct mail. It's more so of the mindset of, okay, how do I have a top tier mindset just focusing on direct mail instead of, just focusing on direct mail and then, okay, what about this? What about this strategy? What about this strategy? Do you find that it's more mindset about how you attack that specific approach, but like aside from the approach itself?
I think everything has to do with mindset, but I think that a lot of real estate investors miss the mark because they're not totally acting as if they're running a business.
Okay.
Because when you act like you're running your business, who cares two shakes about what somebody's saying on the internet about direct mail or how they did things? Who cares about that crap? When you are in the driver's seat of your business, you'll use your own mind. And you can learn from other people, but you don't necessarily follow the leader. So I think that we're brilliant enough when we talk about our mindset. We're smart enough to be able to solve our own problems by learning from other people, yes, but not necessarily going with the flow of everything.
Perfect.
So I personally don't do direct mail. Never did it. So, but it works for some people. It's just not my style. But what I want people to do is when you're running your business, your real estate investment business, to really look at it through your lens. How would you run your business? You're going to study other people, but then make it your own. But mindset is everything. I agree there that mindset is absolutely everything. But if you have a mindset of follow the leader, then you're going to forever be a follower and never be the leader that you
That's
designed to
awesome.
be.
That's gold right there. And that answered the question pretty much spot on, because I try to solve the problem of, okay, why people have the knowledge, including myself, just on increasing deal flow, increasing leads, things like that. We'll get trapped in the mindset of, okay, we have a couple of options that we can go about. But like you said, it's, when you are in the driver's seat of your business, you are the CEO and you are in charge of creation, essentially. Like, you are in charge of creating and keep on building the business. Whatever you need to do, whoever you need to attract, so be it. But you are in the creativity chair. So run your business exactly how you would. Just go out there and go get it. Awesome. So 2019,
Yep.
We have, and I'm gonna base it strictly off of habits, only because that is just actionable steps. But habits of the wealthy and habits of people who take care of their money. For somebody in 2019, whether they've, just are terrible with money and managing their finances, or whether they're decent and just want to get better, what are some of the habits that either you teach or you implore in your own daily life that help you be financially independent?
All right. Number one habit is constantly looking for additional streams of income, like all the time, 24/7, no days off, constantly looking for other ways of making money. That is something that wealthy people do all the time. They figure out how to do one thing, but then they figure out how to do that one thing multiple ways. For example, real estate. I figured out how to get into real estate market. But I think when I counted, I had 19 streams of income just from real estate. So that's one way that wealthy people think. The other way that wealthy people think is they invest to make money. People who are not wealthy, one, are afraid of investing, or invest thinking they're trying to keep their money. So we have to shift the mindset there. So when you invest, you're investing to make your money work for you. Another habit that people that are wealthy do is they write the vision and they make it plain. They write goals. And then they don't just write goals with no end date. They write goals with an end date, a specific date of which this is going to be accomplished. And then they remind themselves every single day with positive affirmations in the mirror. You can call it crazy if you want to, but I'm telling you what changed my life. In the mirror, talk to yourself. I am my best coach. I'm my best coach. I'm my best motivational speaker. I'm my best cheerleader. And you affirm those goals that you have. Also, people who have a wealthy mindset realize that there's really no limits of what can be accomplished. And when we take the limits off, then you realize that there's a big old world out here with a lot of money attached to it.
I love that. I love that. So is that it looks like 4. That was either 4 or 5 solid.
How many was I supposed to give you?
That was perfect. No, that was perfect.
Because I got a whole bunch more.
You are more than welcome. Like I said, I know, with your hectic schedule, with the businesses and companies that you run, I know that we don't have a lot of time. But this is all just pure gold. And the one thing that I wanted to point out, as far as affirmations, and I believe the main reason why people don't indulge in affirmations a lot more is because, well, number one, they don't have anything to affirm themselves. And what I mean by that is, for example, you saying to yourself, like, I am my best coach, I am my best cheerleader. It's one thing to say it, but by the end of the day, or by, whatever time in between, there has to be something mentally that you can solidify that affirmation with. So if you said that to yourself, like in the morning and then throughout the day, you did something and you really gave yourself a pat on the back and you really cheered for yourself, then the next time that you say that affirmation, your brain is going to think back to the time where, you patted yourself, you cheered for yourself, and then that affirmation reinforces itself. And then over time, you slowly start to reinforce that affirmation. And I think a lot of people just see as affirmation as just saying something to themselves to change their state for the time being, but then that state doesn't last. Does that make sense? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yep. It makes sense, but what I meant by saying I'm the best coach. I'm my best coach is basically I'm going to speak positivity over my life. But the affirmations also go hand in hand with your goal.
Ah, yes.
With the goal. So if your goal is to become a real estate investor, then your affirmation is I'm a real estate investor by March 2019. I will buy my first house by March 2019. I will get my credit together by June 2000. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. So once you get your goals, you can affirm those things. And of course, you have to be your best coach and you have to be all of that as well.
As we slowly, kind of start our descent, you gave us some actionable tips. You've given us, a couple of points of how someone can, literally start to change their financial outlook over time. For 2019, January, like we're just focusing on January, what is, and I asked this question because like you said, we act so, we perform so much better under a clear mind. And January, starting off the year, what is one thing that somebody can do over the course of January or, what's one thing that somebody can do to start the momentum of changing their financial outlook throughout the course of the rest of the year?
One thing that can be done as a change of financial outcome, I'll make a small change. I think we need to make small changes because small changes become big changes. So, for example, if someone could just do something as simple as save on Sunday. And what I mean by that is January, we look at the calendar. I'm not sure what day the first Sunday is of January, but if we do that, like, for example, okay, so the first Sunday in January is 6. So on that day, save simply $6. The next Sunday is 13. Simply save $13. The next Sunday is 20. Simply save $20. Simply save $27. And at the end of the month, you'll have a little bit under $100. You may have like 70-something dollars. I didn't do the math. But what I want you to do is then to take that money that you simply saved on Sunday and then reinvest that in the stock market. You want to invest it in the stock market. Small money, put all of your eggs in one basket. If you remember, I'm millionaire mindset because of multiple streams of income. So I live and breathe real estate, but real estate is not my only stream of income. So I think if we can adapt something a little bit different without a lot of risk, I think that would be something that I would have people implement just to start getting streams of income coming in.
I hope people can, they see the free coaching because I can only imagine what someone can gain knowledge-wise when they actually look to you as a coach. I could just tell. So that makes me ask, this question wasn't on the list, but this makes me ask now, invested in stocks, are you going after, blue chip stocks or, like an Apple or an Amazon, like stocks that have proven themselves? Or are you looking for, this startup company that, you can look to increase your ROI based on the amount of dollars that you're putting in? Because if if you take a month of, say $100, I won't buy you one of Apple's shares, but where are you looking to invest that money in the stock market? It is on the startups or the more established companies?
It can be both, and you can still buy Apple, even though the amount per share is greater than $100. You can have a percentage of a share, and I think people misunderstand that as well. Like you can still buy that in Apple. However, what I like to do is look at, I approach it the same way I approach real estate flipping. So if you find a property that's distressed, but you know it's an up and coming area, you want to acquire that property, rehab it, and then of course the equity is in the future value of that property. So with stocks, I look at companies that may be struggling for a little bit, and we know that they're going to come out of that struggle. Or, for example, I would do an Apple when I know that there's a new technology that is coming out that did not hit yet. So it's all future forecasting where it relates to stock investing. And for me, my personal favorite with investing in stock is this. You could call it risky if you want, but I don't put a lot of money in it. But here's what I do. I want to own where I spend my money. So because I stay at Dunkin' Donuts, I'm going to own a piece of Dunkin' Donuts. And because my children have Nikes, I'm going to own a piece of Nike. So that's one of my strategies, is basically to invest where I spend my money.
It sounds like it could be risky, but it's so counterintuitive that it's brilliant. Like you're feeding. You know what I mean? Like it makes so perfect sense, because it's like you are the one that's feeding your investment. Like why, you know what I mean? Like it's yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't like, you know, a lot of people want to go after the next Apple, when it's $5 and shit. But I think that's awesome. I think that's like pure brilliance.
Yeah, thank you. And then again, I'm taking little money and putting them in there and diversifying. So you don't have huge risk. It's only risky when you put your whole mortgage, when you put all of your life savings in it. If you're putting the money that you saved on Sunday, you're not going to worry about that.
I love
so
that.
There you go.
Okay, awesome. As we start our descent, the core which are the 4 questions that I ask each and every guest on the Austin Smith Real Estate Podcast. Question number 1: what is your favorite aspect about real estate?
Favorite aspect about real estate is, it sounds so corny, but just making money.
Yeah, it sounds spot on, to be honest with you.
There's so many ways. Because there's so many ways of making money. Like that's it. And it's freedom. It provides freedom.
True indeed. That's one of the pivotal ways why I got into the business. Question number 2: what is your favorite business or personal development book? And you can't pick your own.
Personal development book, I would say Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Awesome. Question number 3: when you're not out running multiple companies, investing in the stock market, or buying more real estate transactions, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I love to travel. I love to travel. Travel. I would have to say travel with my family, travel with my husband. I just love to travel. Yeah. And I can't say that I have a specific hobby other than ready to jump on the plane and go see somewhere else.
I don't even blame you. That's awesome. Last but not least, Doctor, where can people find you at?
Absolutely. You can find me on connectwithroberta.com, connectwithroberta.com if you're interested in any real estate coaching, business coaching. You can reach me there at www.connectwithroberta.com. Of course, I am on social media, and it's Roberta Hoskie, Roberta, Hoskie, HOS as in Sam, KIE. And you may see as Dr. Roberta Hoskie, a.k.a. Miss Millionaire Mindset. And you could just Google me. You put my name in Google. I'm Googleable, and you'll find all the stories, and you'll be able to find me. But I would love for you to connect and follow me at connectwithroberta.com. And anyone interested in purchasing my book, it will be available at www.robertahoskie.net, robertahoskie.net, N-E-T. And that's where
Roberta,
it will be.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto the show and share those gems, share those, those wisdom. It was almost like a free coaching call. And, I'm hoping people, which I'm glad you're not billing me for that. So I greatly appreciate you for that. Because I completely understand. Greatly appreciate you taking the time. Greatly appreciate you sharing your expertise, providing some actionable strategies and tips. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. It is my pleasure. You keep up the good work and you keep doing what you do. It's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.